you tend to focus on the wire that's off, or you tend to focus on just things that are not perfect. And we just want to be able to get some practical stuff that we can take with us, you know. So I got some different questions for everybody here. And first of all, for those of you guys that don't know everybody here, Devin Fry is the leader of the 508. I don't know if you guys heard of the 508, but it's an amazing young adults ministry down outside the Boston area in Framingham, and they're doing some amazing things with young adults. I think I was there last month, as a matter of fact. They had over like 300 young adults there just hanging out and just seeking out Jesus. And I don't know about you, but that's huge in New England. For you to be able to gather I think anywhere pretty much, to gather 300 young adults on a Friday night to come and hang out, that's pretty amazing. And I love the way Christian just connects with the millennials and just kind of knows the language of the millennial generation, and that's awesome. And the other reason that we brought Catherine is, of course, her amazing gift, but just her ability to be able to flow in the prophetic. So we're going to have some questions about that. And I know you were sharing some stuff with the team, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And just, Josh, enough said. You know, amazing preacher, just tore this place up. And just in an amazing way. So
gotta bring it back.
Yes, for sure. For sure. We're going to do some prepared questions that we have, but the other things that we're going to do here is I'm going to allow you to send some text messages as far as questions, because I'm not going to give any of y'all the mic because some of y'all might ask something crazy. And so I'm going to screen your text messages before we put them up here. So if you want to text to any questions to 300 401, right? 300, I want to make sure I got this number right here. Hold on a second. 401-300-5860. So if you have any questions, you can send them there. And if we have time, we will get to it towards the end. But I just had a couple of questions. I think that one of the greatest fight for most people who are in ministry or platform ministries like yourselves, I would say, I think, is it fair to say that one of the greatest struggles is that fight for significance on whatever level you're at? Because maybe your platform, some people's platforms are different. Some people's platform might be the local church or the region in which they're in, or the city that they're in. Others' platform might be, you know, the conference circuit and so forth. And is it fair to say that that's one of the biggest struggles? Is, as much as we don't like to admit that, I believe that that's to a certain degree. If some of you have overcome that, please share it with us.
Check. What happened to Mike when they asked this question? Yeah, you know, I think, you know, everyone has a quest for significance. And I think we were actually talking about this earlier, how social media has lied to us. And it's lied to everyone. It's not, I don't think there's one minister, one person who does, you know, full-time ministry if it's in the marketplace. We have these thoughts of social media has painted the picture of significance. And, you know, and it means, you know, you've got this number of Facebook followers, Instagram followers, your picture has to be perfect. And, you know, it's all of these different things. And the funny thing is, even with, for instance, like big name ministers, I've been in, you know, big meetings with big name ministers and small meetings, and usually just the big meetings end up on the Instagram, you know? And I'm like, wait a second, this is not telling the full picture. I was with 75 people last week, and you were there, and then now you're in front of like 10,000. Where was the 75? Let's tell the full picture, you know? And I think, and it's not that they're trying to lie or anything like that, but the reality is that I think, you know, true significance comes with your purpose, doing what you're called to do and discovering that and what God has said about you. So, you know, if you can get to a place where your identity is securely in what God thinks about you, the game's going to change. And then 2, you've got to find your lane and realize that your story is never going to look like somebody else's story. It has to look like yours, and that's where your power is going to lie. And, you know, when David tried on Saul's armor, it didn't work for him. And he had that moment of feeling it out and being like, maybe I can fight this way. But he had to go back to the place where he had authority, which was with the slingshot. And so it's staying in your lane and doing what you're called to do. So I think it's just at the end of the day, and I even picture this, you know, in my worship sets, it's like Jesus sits on the front row and that's who I'm singing to. And so when your foundation is Jesus happy with what I'm doing? Am I doing what I'm called to do? That changes everything. And of course, we've got dreams and desires. Even Paul the Apostle was contending for big things. He said, you know, pray that more doors open so I can release the gospel message. We've got dreams in our hearts, and we're supposed to believe and contend for big things. But it's believing and contending for what the mountains you're called to take, if that makes sense with that. And so it's like, you know, if your success is leading a 75-member church, which statistically that's the average church size in America. And so it's just that's successful. That's, you know, that's what you're called to do. So what is it that you're called to do and do that? If you're a stay-at-home mom, that's where your significant lies, is doing what you're called to do, and we applaud that.
I think too, that's phenomenal. I think too, our generation has become dissatisfied with process, and that we don't really understand the power God gives us to prepare. We used to sing an old song in the old church. Maybe somebody don't know. We used to say, Lord, prepare me. We don't sing that. We say, Lord, bless me right now. Give it to me right now. I want it right now. And God says, that's not how big things happen, because nobody goes to the gas station and gets filet mignon. And great things get prepared and are prepared through process. And here's what I want you to hear. In this quest for seeing big things, oftentimes you don't know the process most people go through and the price they pay to get there. No one knows that oftentimes before we stand on big platforms in front of the masses, we've probably gone through a significant fight. I can take you through a season of my life where I prayed the dumbest prayer in my life. I said, God, I want the next level. Dumb prayer. My dad cheats on my mom. My mom gets breast cancer. I have 2 significant family members die. And all while I'm asking for God for the next level. Did God alter those things? No, but he will use those things. Because here's what I know. Anything you don't go through the process to get, you'll never have the power to keep. Wow. Yeah. So don't compare my destination to your destination, because at the end we can't compare destinations because we can't compare preparations. Our preparation is unique to us because our destination is unique to us. So we should celebrate one another, because we never know what part of the process each of us are going through. So when we see somebody succeed, it should become, watch this, a sign that we're closer than what we think. So,
That's good.
I should have answered before he went, dang it. I find myself on stages like this a lot, where I am amongst people that are much better than me, doing things far more significant. And so I think the question... Better looking. I wouldn't say better looking. I wouldn't agree with that. I think that's a false statement. But I'm just kidding, but don't be offended at that. But I think that's a relevant question for my life specifically. I think I find that I don't have to base things on things and find my identity on things that are fleeting. And so I think a lot of times we compare gifts and we don't compare identity. And so I can't preach like the double-barrel shotgun that Pastor Josh Carter is over here. But I do know, and I've come to the conclusion that I'm a better pastor than I am a preacher, and I want to be a good pastor. That makes sense? You guys follow me so far? And so I find that I'm okay in who I am, and my gifting is not as strong as some other people in some areas, but I do know I have strength in other areas. That makes sense. You guys follow me today? Yeah. While at the same time, I also know that Jesus was affirmed, and God said that he approved of me. He was proud. God said he was proud of Jesus before he performed a miracle. And so my approval comes from heaven. It doesn't come from earth. Yeah. And I find that a lot of times we don't rest in that. We need other people's approval and validation, when really we don't need theirs. We have God's. Yeah. And so I know my identity rests in heaven, not on earth. Yeah.
Well, sure. I'll say something. Hi. Your question was about significance. See my ADD, I have to forget. So one of the things that I struggled with a couple of years ago was people telling me that if I wanted to go to another level, I needed to do this, 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 and this. Take off that picture on Instagram. I actually had an Instagram account that had thousands of followers, I took it down because I became so prideful that I was no longer a minister. And